Hello and welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to teach you how to create this model using Blender and Substance Painter. Let's start. First of all, I apologize for my English. It is not my main language, but I'll do my best. So to start, delete the cube and we are going to add a circle. Let's start with maybe 12 vertices, then decrease the diameter, and we are going to fill it with E, extrude, and F to fill this circle. Then we select the outside and extrude along the Z-axis, maybe like this. Then we are going to scale it with S. There we go. Now we extrude it again along the Z-axis and scale it like this. Maybe like this will work. Now we apply the modifier subdivision surface. You can press Ctrl 1, 2 or 3, 4 or 5. Let's keep it in 3 right now. And go to Object, Shade Smooth, or press W. Then go to Edit Mode and extrude it to the center like this. Then extrude it along the Z-axis. There we go. Maybe this part can be bigger. Then close the bottom part. We're going to bevel this with Ctrl B, or just go to Edge and bevel edges. Just a little bit, not that much. There we go. Then in order to have a good topology here, we are going to insert with I. Then in vertex mode here, we are going to connect these vertices. Here, this is the join tool. It is not called join anymore. I'd recommend to you to add a shortcut. Right click, change shortcut, and I'm going to use my mouse shortcut. Do you see how this is easier to do? Then connect these other vertices. There we go. I'm going to bevel this. Then go again to subdivision. Now I'm going to do again the bevel here with Ctrl B. And I'm going to do the same here with the vertices. Alright. I'm going to add here a detail that I'm going to remove in the low poly, but I want to keep it in the high poly to make later some texture here. I'm going to add a loop here, and I'm going to use these other two. I'm going to bevel it with 3. Then I'm going to press Alt S to scale along normals. This is the tool to do this. You can do it like this if you want, but I think it is easier with the shortcut Alt S. Just a little bit, not too much. Then I'm going to bevel those edges too. There we go. I'm going to get rid of this detail in the low poly layer. I am going to create now a pattern for this part. So I'm going to go to edit mode, and I'm going to select this edge and press Shift S and cursor to select it. This same tool is here. Snap, cursor to select it. Make sure you have the edge selected. Then I'm going to make a plane and scale it. Perfect. Move this bottom edge to the top and this one to bottom. Then I'm going to add here a bevel, then extrude it to the left, maybe -5, E, Y, 5. There we go. I'm going to add a loop cut here too, and another one here. Then extrude it to the bottom, then this one to top. Another loop cut here, and another one here. Then maybe we are going to extrude it to the center of this parts like this. And to snap like this, you need to go to this tool and select vertex. You can use the magnet, so it will be snapped, but I'm going to disable it because you can use it with Ctrl too. You see? Just pressing Ctrl. If you release the key, you are not going to use a snap anymore. Then do the same with the other part. I think this is fine. I'm going to remove unnecessary looped cuts. I think they are not unnecessary because we are going to deform this piece, so I'm not going to delete them. Alright, then extrude it to the x-axis like this. Maybe we can get rid of this part. So for this, select these faces and press Ctrl plus. You see? Now press Ctrl I to invert the selection, or go to select, invert, and delete these faces. Perfect. I'm going to locate these details here maybe, and I'm going to add here lattice. To do this, go to add or Shift A, the nav lattice. It is lattice. So we add the lattice here. Then go to this icon, data, and we increase the resolution here. Maybe 5, maybe 6 is fine. The same in this direction. We can remove this part of the resolution and we locate this mesh like this. Perfect. Now we go to this mesh, go to modifiers, and we add lattice. Select the lattice. Then in this mesh, we add the form shrink wrap. And we select the ball. You see? We can play with the offset maybe like this. I think this is fine. I'm going to decrease the scale a little bit. And I'm going to subdivide this. Remember, you can press Ctrl 1, 2, or 3, or add subdivision here in Generate, Subdivision Surface. Then Shade Smooth, W, Shade Smooth, and I'm going to enable this just to see the deformation. And I'm going to add some beveling here. You can use the modifier, but I prefer to do this manually. We select all the corners too. And I'm going to bevel it with Ctrl B and increase with the mouse wheel a little bit of. I think it looks good like this. Maybe I'm going to add some loops here. Just a few. There we go. I like this. Then to make it go around all the ball, we need to do the next. Select the ball. If you see, we have the center here in the world center. I'm going to add a empty plane axis. You see? Then I'm going to select this mesh. I'm going to add modifier, generate array. Then this option. Then select object offset. Then here we add the empty, like this. If you see this problem, you first need to apply scale with Ctrl A, or go to Object, Apply, Scale, then apply rotation, Ctrl A, rotation, or rotation. Now you see this is not going well, so you need to change the center of this object to the world center too. You need to put this the pivot point, this little circle, in the same position of the empty. So to do this, we press Ctrl, Shift, Alt, C, and origin to 3D cursor. Or go to Object, set origin to 3D cursor. You see? Now on hide the ball. Now we are going to select the empty and rotate it along Z-axis, like this. Then select this mesh and go to array, count, and increase the count. Maybe like this. Very good. We have these details along the bowl. We are going to delete this mesh later, so do not worry for the topology. It is not bad, but we are going to remove this mesh later. Well, we made the bowl. See you in the next part. Well, now to do the soup, we press Ctrl A, mesh, circle. Remember, always have the 3D cursor in the middle of the world, like this, because if you move it like this, we are going to add a mesh now, and the circle will be at here. So we do not want that. So to move back this cursor to the world center, we press Shift S and cursor to world origin, or go to object, snap, cursor to world origin. Now we add a circle, and yeah, keep it in 12, scale it down until you see it fits the bowl like this. Then go to edit mode and press E to extrude and S to scale, and fill it with F. I'm going to position it like maybe here. Yes. Make sure all the corners, all the vertices are inside the bowl, so we are not going to have this problem. You see? I'm going to subdivide this with Ctrl 2, and we fix the geometry. It is not necessary since this is a flat area, but we're going to do this. Remember, to connect vertices, you select the first one and the last one, and go to Vertex, Connect Vertex Path. Nice. So now we have the soup. This mesh can be transparent later. I think it can be, but now we don't need to worry about this. So let's do the noodles. For the noodles, go to this vertex and press Shift S, cursor to selected, or go to mesh, snap, cursor to selected. Then go back to object mode and let's go to mesh, single vert, add single vert. If you don't have this option, because I don't remember if Blender removed it, go to edit, preferences, addons, and we type here extra mesh objects. You may have this add-on activated, or maybe not, since the last update, Blender 4.2, changed a lot of things with the add-ons. So make sure you have this add-on enabled. If you don't have this one, you need to go to this website and activate it. Well, single vert, add single vert. I'm going to make just a random shape like this. Make sure you always extrude it evenly like this. I'll try to avoid this. Right, now I'm going to press Alt-C, convert to curve, or object, convert to curve. Now this is a curve. If you go to edit mode, you see now this is a curve. So to edit this curve, we are going to go to data here and go to geometry. Here in bevel, we are going to increase the depth. Not too much, maybe like this meanwhile. And I'm going to decrease resolution here, because if we keep it in 4 or 5, for example, then we apply subdivisions. You see this mesh is too dense. Let me show you. This mesh is too dense, and we need the those edges. We don't need all of these edges, so we are going to decrease the resolution for this. You see? Now we increase the depth. You see how it is practically the same? Instead of this, we have this. So I'm going to keep the resolution in 0, like this. You can play with the edges to make a noodle. So this is all in your creativity. Try to avoid one big noodle, so we are going to separate them like this by small chunks. To create another noodle, we are going to select one of the vertices and press Shift D to duplicate. You can start extruding this noodle like this, but I recommend to separate the noodle. Press L to select, then P to separate. Well, we have the noodles. Maybe there is a trick to do this faster with any tool or maybe geometry nodes, but I like to do this in this way. You can select all the curves. You see the curves with this icon. Go to edit mode, select all the vertices, then press Alt S to scale them. You see? Now you keep the noodles as you want. I'm going to keep it just a little bit thicker, like this. Well, we have the noodles. Now we're going to do the X. To do the X, position the cursor maybe here. You can press, I don't know if this is default in Blender. I'm pressing Ctrl Alt right click. But if you can do this, select any part of the mesh, for example, here. Select this vertex and press Ctrl S, cursor to select it, or again, go to curve, snap, cursor to select it. You see? Then we're going to add a cube. Yeah, to do the egg, we're going to add a cube here. Scale it down, maybe like this. We're going to add a cube because we are going to subdivide this maybe 2 times, then apply this subdivision. No, sorry, not apply yet. I'm going to edit this cube, make it a little bit longer, and add a loop here in the middle. Now I'm going to apply subdivision. We're going to go to Mesh, Transform to Sphere, and move it to the right. Not too much to be a sphere, but like this. Now we remove the top faces. Now I'm going to scale it in the x-axis, like this, and maybe select this this vertex. And I'm going to enable proportional editing, and I'm going to scale it along the y-axis. You can increase this with the mouse wheel. Yeah, like this. This is good. It looks like an egg now. Maybe a little bit wider. Now we select all these edges. Press S to scale, C axis, then 0. Maybe you don't see any difference, but if you have some uneven parts here like this, for example, and now we add a face here, you see how it looks bad? You need to first make sure all of these vertex are in the same position. You see? Remember, press S, C-axis, and 0. I'm going to fill all of these edges with the F key. Then go to face, or here, face. Then I'm going to insert this with I key. Then we're going to fix topology here, connecting edges. I'm going to apply subdivision surface in 3 and maybe add a little bevel here with Ctrl B. Now to do the middle part of the egg, the yolk part, we are going to select all of these faces and duplicate them with Shift V, move it along Z-axis, and separate them with P, separate selection, then maybe scale this down, play with the other axis position and scale, maybe like this. We may need to add some loops here to make it look like a sphere. Now select all the borders and press E to extrude and S to scale like this. Then move them to the bottom and do the same. Scale them down and position it like this, maybe. Perfect, this is good. Maybe a little smaller. Perfect. Now you position the egg wherever you want, maybe like this. Very good. Now to duplicate this egg without creating another different one, for example this one, we are going to select both, then press Alt D instead Shift A. And we are going to create a duplicate of this model, but as an instance. Well, you see, now if we edit this mesh, we are going to be editing all the instances. We're not going to edit this egg, but this is an example to use instancing in duplications. But this will be useful later for optimization and UV unwrapping. So we have the eggs. Great. Now let's do the nori seaweed. We're going to add a plane here and make it longer, maybe like this, not too much. Then I'm going to subdivide this with W, subdivide. A few times, not that much, maybe like this. Then you can play with the vertex. Make sure you have proportional editing activated to do this. I'm going to add a modifier, generate, solidify. I don't want it to be too thicker, maybe just like this. Then I'm going to add subdivision with Ctrl 1, 2, 3. There we go. So to make the corners sharper, not this curved mesh, we're going to select all the borders of this model. We need to first apply solidify, then select top and bottom, and select the corners too. Then I'm going to press Shift E and increase the value. Try to avoid 1. You can see the numbers here. So you can see the numbers here. Try to avoid 1, maybe just 0.5. You can increase subdivision. This is not a problem. You can have a lot of subdivisions here. If your PC can handle this. This is just for the high poly. We are not going to be using this in the low poly version. Then I'm going to position these maybe here. Just play with the rotations and positions. We select some vertices, activate proportional editing and rotate. You can play with this. Nice. We are going to duplicate this, but this time we are not going to be using all D, because if we edit this mesh, we are going to be editing both. So this time we use Shift D to duplicate these normally. Very good. Now let's add some circles here. Maybe use just 8 vertices. Scale them down. I want this look stylized, so now I'm not going to add small green onions here. We make some cylinders like this. Then go to faces and press E to scale and E to extrude and S to scale. Remember the snap tool here, vertex, and we move pressing Z axis and Control to snap here. You see how Control works? Maybe not that longer, just a little bit like this. Have subdivisions and select some edges like this and add some bevels. Nice. Now we select this middle part, disable the subdivision surface viewport, then select this part and press Shift V, click without moving mouse, then press P, separate selection. Go to object mode and select the inner part. Then I'm going to fill this and fill this with F. Select this face and this face and press I to insert faces and connect the vertex. To isolate this part, just press Shift H. Then enable subdivisions again and maybe scale this with S. Maybe we are going to be adding here another insertion like this. Select this and bevel with Ctrl B. Select this edge loop and move it to the Z axis. You can use Shift E again to make a crease, maybe just like this. And you can deform some of these parts using the proportional editing and move it like this. There we go. We have green onions. I'm going to apply scale and rotations. Make sure they are separated meshes. And I'm going to position them randomly. Sorry, make sure you duplicate this using Alt D to make instancing. I didn't duplicate this one using instancing, so I'm going to do it again with Alt D. We have some green onions here. Now let's make the pork. To make the pork, I'm going to first hide all of these. I'm going to hide the folder. I'm going to create a new folder. Position the cursor to the world origin. Remember, object, snap, cursor to world origin. Then I'm going to add here a circle, maybe with 12 vertices. Scale it down. I'm going to increase the x-axis size and I'm going to fill it. Insert with I. Then what I'm going to do here, I want this pork looks like this, okay? So to do this, I'm going to select in edit mode all the border, press Shift V, click without moving the mouse and separate with P. I'm going to select the outside, this mesh. Hide this one meanwhile. Then remove, no, not remove. Select this vertex and press UV. Like this. Now you can extrude it like this. Follow the mesh, following the mesh you want. Maybe just like this. Then I'm going to extrude this along the Z-axis, and I'm going to add here generate solidify. Maybe just something like this. Perfect. Apply. Then unhide the original shape, and I'm going to move it here to the center, maybe just maybe here, and extrude it. Well, first let's connect the vertex. Now you can extrude it. Decrease the size to make it look inside this other part, just like this. And we add subdivisions. Control 1, 2, or 3. Apply shade smooth, and let's add some loop cuts here and move these to make it look different a little bit. Just you can add some loop cuts as you want. And let's hide this inside piece like this. You can add some creases here with Shift E, and things looks very good. It looks very good. Then I'm going to move it to the top, then unhide the ball. Make sure you apply the scale and rotations. Then position this wherever you want. Maybe mid-size pieces like this. I'm going to position it here, so I need to move some green onions first. And maybe move some noodles too, like this. Just play with the meshes to find the result you want. Duplicate with Alt-D. Very nice. Now to see if you have some inverted normals, you need to go to this icon, click in the arrow, and select this option, face orientation. You can add a shortcut. Here you will see add shortcut. I have a mouse shortcut for this. You can see it is faster, you see. Now we're going to use this tool to see rotated or inverted normals like this. We select them, one of them, remember they are instances, and press Ctrl N. Recalculate normals, and you can click here to see the blue part. The blue part is correct. Or go here to Mesh, Normals, Flip. Use one of these tools. There we go, we have the bowl. Now we are going to make some chopsticks. To make the chopsticks, this will be easy. Hide your bowl. Using the center of the wall, we're going to add here a vertex. Add single vert. I'm going to scale it. I'm going to extrude it along the x-axis, like this, maybe more. Then go to Object, Convert, Curve, and we do the same like we did with the noodles. Make sure you disable this subdivision, then apply the subdivision in 0, then convert to mesh. Now we add subdivisions. We select the top part here and fill. Then we bevel it with Ctrl B, just like this. We add some loop cuts here. We select this part and press S to scale, just a little bit, not that much. Select the other part and extrude it like this. Then again fill and bevel. We select this loop cut. We add a little bevel like this. Select the inner part and press Alt S or just S here. Select these loops and add bevel with Ctrl B. Then we have this simple chopstick. Make sure the face orientation is blue. Duplicate it with Alt D, Y, and rotate like this. Perfect. Move it on top and hide your bowl. Make sure the size is proportional to the bowl, maybe like this. Well, very good, we have the bowl. Well, now we are going to be moving all of these meshes to a new folder. So select everything, press M to move to collection, new collection, and I'm going to call it Ramen _ high. Alright, now we need to rename all of these pieces with any name, but we need to add the suffix high. I highly recommend using an addon for this. You can rename every piece manually, but it will take you a lot. So I'm going to be using an addon for this. It will be in the description below, so you can download it. This is called Simple Rename. So we select the first one and the last one and press and click with the shift to select everything. Then go here to this section and type Ramen and replace names. You see how now we have all these pieces renamed with numbers. So now go here to suffix and type here _high. Perfect. Then we are going to duplicate this, all of this selection with Shift V, click without moving the mouse again, press M, new collection, and Ramen _ low. This will be our low poly mesh that we are going to be using for video games or anything else. Remember, high poly is the high detailed mesh that you can sculpt or use to add any small details. We are going to be starting making this model. Then we need to optimize this model to make it low poly. So this is our duplicate. So we need to rename this again, this low poly version, and replace the high and the numbers with low instead of high. So select everything here in this folder, go to this section, search, and type here high .001. Then replace it by low. Search and replace. You see? Now every piece here, for example, Ramen _ 10 low, this one, will be the same as this one, 10. You see? Every single piece may correspond to the other piece in the other folder. So now we need to start to optimize this bowl. Let's start with the bowl. Isolate it with Shift H, remove subdivisions. Maybe we can keep subdivision levels in, yeah, one will be 5. Yeah, 1 will be fine. We can add 2, but it will be too much for a low poly model, for this stylized model. So we're going to keep it the level in 1. So apply subdivision, go to edit mode, and you can start removing some unnecessary edge loops. I'm going to remove this, a lot of this here. How you define an unnecessary loop here? Just make sure it doesn't deform the silhouette of your model. For example, if we remove this loop, this will happen. You see? So we don't want this. Make sure you only modify loop cuts that do not affect your model. You see? To move this loop cut along this edge, we are going to press GG. You see? I'll be removing this part, all of this part inside, because they are covered by the soup. So I'm not going to be making the soup transparent. So select the center here and press Ctrl+. Maybe just here. We can remove all of these faces since they are be covered by the soup and all the ingredients. Well, we have this bowl. Maybe we can remove this part too. Move this with GG. Perfect. There we go. Now to make it look a little bit smooth in shading, we go to modifier, normals, and weighted normals. If you don't have this here, because this is part of the new update, you just simply type here search and weighted normals. If this doesn't work because you have an older version, you need to add here shade auto smooth. If you see here a warning sign, you need to add first shade auto. You see the difference in shading? We are going to be using this modifier for every piece of this model. Well, disable in viewport. To see this icon, you need to go to this icon and enable this option. You see? It will disable entirely your model from the viewport. And if you press Alt-H to show everything, that mesh won't be on hide. So we need to get rid of this mesh. This is not necessary here because this will be baked in the low poly bowl. So remove it, including the empty. So now select the soup. Press, maybe we can keep one level and apply subdivision. We can remove this, perfect. Now hide it. Select maybe the X. Yeah, we can remove subdivisions here. This is not necessary for this model. Select one of them and maybe remove this too. This is not necessary too. Perfect. And hide. Now the inner part. Maybe we can remove, yes, the subdivision. And hide again. Now the noddy. Yeah, we can keep subdivisions here in 1 instead of 0. No, there's no much difference. I'm going to remove subdivisions here too. But we are going to add a loop here. It will help later to add some smoother shader. Maybe now the chopsticks. Here we cannot remove the subdivision because it will look like this. Maybe we use only level 1. Perfect. And apply. We cannot apply this modifier directly here because this is an instance from another object, so we convert them to mesh. You see, we apply the modifier and they are still an instance. We need to remove some unnecessary edges here. Very good, and hide. Remove this lattice. We don't need this anymore. Now let's go to the pork shapes. This will be quite different because it is not necessary to bake this high poly into this low poly because it will look good, but it is not necessary to have all of these meshes. So for this, I'm going to select the inner part. Remember, we made this, and duplicate it. Then I'm going to remove maybe. Let's increase the size here. Perfect. Let's remove the subdivision meanwhile. All right. Select the top faces and go here to normal. And we can increase the size here like this. The same for this part. Press Ctrl+. Make sure it covers most parts of the pork. Now we add subdivision to this. Hide this meanwhile. Sorry. Keep visible only this. Then add some bevel here. Maybe just one level like this. Perfect. Now if you see, we have here 3 meshes. We need to remove 2 of them. We are going to be removing this one and this one, the originals. Why? Because we replaced them with this low poly version that will be baking all of these into this. Make sure they are in the same position. Hide the new one and remove the older one. Now copy this and position it here with the other pork piece. Well, again, hide the new one and remove the older one. Great, we have these pork pieces in low poly. We remove apply subdivision in one level. And let's optimize this a little bit. Maybe we can remove this piece and this one. Some unnecessary edges like this. Perfect. Now hide them. Select the green onions. I think one subdivision level will work here. We can use the same method we used for the pork, but will take a lot of time to do that. So instead we are going to use this other method that is very useful. Just you need to clean some more geometry. Well, remember we cannot apply subdivision because they are instances, so press Alt-C and convert to mesh. Object, convert to mesh. Now we have all the subdivisions applied there, and they are again instances. So we select only one of them because if we remove polygons here, they are going to be removed along all of the instances. So let's remove all of the necessary polygons. I'm going to remove the inner part too. Maybe these faces. same for the outer part, like this. And maybe increase the size of this just a little bit, just to cover the empty areas. We can remove this loop cut here too, and that's perfect. Select all of the pieces and hide them. Now we just have remaining the noodles. They are going to be easy, but they are a lot, so you should have a lot of patience here. Let's go one by one. I'm going to be using just one level of subdivision, not two. This is too much. One is perfect, so apply. We cannot apply subdivision because this is a curve, as you can see. So we need to first convert this curve into a mesh. So remove this subdivision, go to Object, Convert to Mesh, or Alt-C and Mesh. Now we apply subdivision in one level, then hide this, go to another one, and continue doing the same for all the noodles. So here we have our bowl. I'm going to be adding this modifier, weight and normal, as we made here, to all these pieces. To do this, select the bowl with this modifier, then select all, make sure the bowl is orange, then press Ctrl L, link transfer data, or go to Object, link transfer data, and copy modifiers. You see, now all these pieces have the same modifier applied. Perfect. So as you can see now, the polygon count of all of these is 16,000. Here you can see it, the triangles. We can optimize this a lot, but this is not the purpose of this video. You can add here a plane and bake only the noodles and the soup into a plane and make only these pieces real meshes. You will save all the noodles poly count. You see how it decreased a lot, practically half. But this is not the purpose of the video, as I said, so we are going to be using this as our low poly. And of course you can modify this and decrease the resolution of some objects, like removing some edges and that. Since these are small pieces, we don't need too much quality here. You see, we can keep it even like that. Yeah, but the polygon save is not too much. Maybe remove these. Yeah, I think we are going to remove these jokes because I want them baked into... Yeah, we save a few polygons, but not that much. But again, optimization for game assets, it's a world, so you need to try a lot of things. I saw here an error. The chopsticks are collisioning with the bowl, so I'm going to enable the high and the low at the same time. Both folders are visible, and I'm going to select the chopsticks and maybe rotate them just to make them apart from the bowl, just like this. Then hide the high version and we have the low version.